Ladies and gentlemen, welcome! Tonight is going to be a good show, probably a short show because I gotta work at 4 o'clock, so I gotta get this done. But I am going to give you your Money in the Bank results and then we're going to get into Raw. I was right on every match but two. The Money in the Bank is probably one of the hardest matches to predict. The Shield retained. I said Ambrose would win. The last guy I even thought would win the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank. Ladder match won this, and it was Damian Sandow. Now him and Rhodes are going to more likely be in a rivalry, so Curtis Axel won, AJ won. Ryback won his first pay-per-view match since before or after he became like a dominant guy, because usually he was in like these matches against like some kind of indie wrestlers and all this, but he won his first his first actual pay-per-view, you could say, because all those ones you could also say don't really count because Ryback was a superstar, but this is his first match winning against a WWE superstar on a pay-per-view. Then you had Alberto Del Rio retaining the title due to disqualification because AJ hit him in the face with the world title. You had your Money in the Bank ladder match. And I told you who I thought was going to win, who I didn't think was going to win. And the last two guys I narrowed it down to was RVD and Orton. And Orton turned out as the winner. And then you had CM Punk. But let's get on with tonight's Raw. Tonight was the Money in the Bank Fallout, and it was actually really good. It was almost as good as the WrestleMania. Brooklyn was off the hook. It was almost as good as East Rutherford, New Jersey, but not as good. New Jersey is still number one. Brooklyn is officially number two now, in crowd-wise. But we started off the night with Brad Maddox doing a little drum roll before his entrance, and then it was all black drum roll, and then he comes out and he makes a Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler match, and then he actually gets interrupted by John Cena. He says that he is really hated in Brooklyn. And then for the first time ever, the general manager lets the WWE champion pick their match or pick their opponent for SummerSlam. And this is one of the things I was going to go on all night on who Cena was going to pick. And you had all these different superstars playing their case, like John Cena names off some names. He says he could face Michael Cole, and he says, well, Michael Cole fights like a little girl. He says he can even face the Bella Twins. Hint, hint. That could be a little bit of foreshadowing for what is to come for this dang match at SummerSlam, which I'm excited for. This was a very good Raw, to be honest with you. Orton comes out, who won the Money in the Bank, the WWE Championship Money in the Bank, and he says he's not cashing in tonight, but he's also not doing what Cena did, which was tell the person when they're cashing in. Fandango enters, and the crowd was fandangoing. This is probably the first crowd to Fandango for a while, actually. And he interrupts and he starts trying to introduce himself. Orton doesn't like it. Orton punches him, and that makes a match for Orton versus Fandango. At one point during this match, it was after the commercial, Orton actually busted his knuckles. Like his knuckles were actually bleeding. And the superplex that Orton always does, he did it differently tonight. What he did was he went up and he kind of just jumped and bounced off, and it gave him a little bit more spring. And they went farther. Well, Fandango went farther, but they had more of an impact on it. But who won this match? Orton won this match off of an RKO. Ziggler was walking down the hallway, mad, and AJ comes and tries to talk to about how she screwed him at Money in the Bank, and uh, so Ziggler actually breaks up with AJ at this point, and then we have Henry actually walking out of the ring, or walking to the ring, and Henry comes out to the ring and says Cena is a great champion. The crowd starts doing the "You tapped out" chant, and Mark Henry actually he broke the fourth wall a lot, and he says, you know what, you guys would actually tap out too, because he is a strong guy, and all of a sudden the Shield interrupt, and Mark Henry actually held his own pretty well for a good bit of this tussle. But what did it was that spear from Rollins, or from Reigns. But the Shield haven't been doing much. I was in love with I love the Shield, and then all of a sudden they just started going south for me. And after Money in the Bank, they it's like they came back. So Brad after that is then seen talking to his mom on the cell phone, and Jericho comes in his office, and Brad Max says, I know a way that you can get John Cena that you can influence John Cena to get a WWE title shot at SummerSlam, and that's to go against a former WWE champion. And so Jericho's like, well, okay, who is that? And Brad Max says, RVD. Oh my god, I am still stunned from watching that match. And then we had your Alberto Del Rio Dolph Ziggler match, and Lawler at one point says, this is as Dolph Ziggler is coming to the ring, he's already in the ring, and Lawler says, AJ was as useless as a pulled tooth. There's something wrong with that. If you pull your tooth as a little kid, don't you give money for it? Money's not useless. Money is probably one of the most helpful things in this whole world. Because that's what the world basically runs on, is money. Because if you have money, you basically have power. And as Dolph Ziggler goes for the pin at one point, this is actually at the end of the match. As Dolph Ziggler goes for the pin, the bell rings, and turns out that's AJ ringing the bell. And Dolph Ziggler loses due to the distraction, because Alberto Del Rio got up and did that little side kick to the face, but this one was more like to the back of the head, like right back here, and you got the 1, 2, 3. AJ comes in the ring and starts attacking Dolph Ziggler. Big E Langston comes out and does this big ending and just basically destroys Dolph Ziggler. So I don't think there's gonna be a Mark Henry Big E Langston match at SummerSlam. It looks like it's probably Big E Langston Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. Next thing we have is R-Truth come out. He's doing his whole rapping and singing and dancing, and as he's basically starting to introduce himself, he says, Brooklyn, New York, and then you get it. All of a sudden you see this lantern, it gets lit, and Bray Wyatt says, we're coming. And they come. They come out, and they attack R-Truth, but not like they did Kane, not as brutally as they did Kane. And as Bray Wyatt's cutting his promo, R-Truth gets back up after the attack, and he's got a chair in his hand, and he wants Bray Wyatt. So the other two, Eric Rollins and Luke Harper, are actually outside the ring, and they go in and they slide in and they attack after Bray Wyatt does, and then they finish off R-Truth for the night. And at the end, after Bray Wyatt did his promo, after they attacked R-Truth, and after they got done attacking R-Truth, Bray Wyatt said something about told Kane to follow the buzzards or something like that. I don't know. And then you had your official team name is revealed for um, for Cesaro and Jack Swagger, and their official team name is called the Real Americans. So then you had the Real Americans in WWE at vote to see who their opponents would be. It was either Primetime Players, Tons of Funk, or the Usos. And the Usos won this. Now, that match was not really that big of a deal. And then you had Damian Sandow, your World Heavyweight Champion, or your World Heavyweight Money in the Bank briefcase winner, who's guaranteed this sometime in the near future, unless he does what John Cena does. This was actually a good match too. Christian won this match, but after the match is where the good stuff actually happened. After the match, Rhodes actually attacks Damian Sandow. That's how the rivalry gets started. Because what happened at Money in the Bank was Cody Rhodes was about to win this thing, and he was a crowd favorite to win it. He was about to win it. As he's about to pull down the briefcase, he grabs it, and then he gets thrown off by Damian Sandow. Damian Sandow sees it, climbs up, grabs it, and wins it. And that made Cody Rhodes mad. And I'll admit, people say that it's Cody Rhodes' time to be a world champion, and I agree. But there's other guys who deserve it maybe just a little bit more. But Cody Rhodes does deserve to be a world heavyweight champion. And then you had a match. It's basically, this match is actually just advertised Total Diva, really. And you had Brie Bella with Nikki Bella, who was not on crutches or on her wheelchair, go against Naomi with Cameron. Now, she might have had her wheelchair over where the timekeeper's area was, and just had her crutches over there, and just stay at the ring apron, because she didn't really move around a lot. She could kind of walk a little bit, but not too much. And Naomi actually won this match with a flying crossbody. There was no twin matches that could be done because of, I guess, Nikki's injury. But Punk then comes out, and this was a very good match. This was probably, besides the last segment, this was probably my favorite segment. Punk comes out, and he is pissed because during the Money in the Bank match, the Money in the Bank All-Star match, Paul Heyman actually turned his back on CM Punk. That's how he had to get staples in his head, like 13 staples or something like that. And he says he wants to speak to Heyman and Lesnar. And out comes Heyman. And Heyman says he sees Punk in, or he looks at the ring, and to him, Punk doesn't even exist anymore. To me, that's kind of harsh. But he says he doesn't exist, and it was all about we. We were the WWE champions. We did this, we did that, we did this, that, the other. And he says, the truth is, you failed when you didn't defeat Undertaker at WrestleMania. You failed us. He mentions CM Punk's mom, his dad, how he has no wife or kids. The only thing he has is the WWE Universe. But what he really has is the WWE Universe in Lita. Or Amy Dumont, whatever you want to call her now. He says he betrayed Punk because Punk can't beat Brock Lesnar. And Punk says he's going to get Heyman back for this, and everyone involved with Heyman, he's going to burn all this stuff, and just destroy Paul Heyman. Heyman does Punk's little thing where he walks out and he kind of rubs his hands on the ground, feels it. It's clobbering time! And then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hits. And they start heading towards the ring. Paul Heyman kind of walks off to the side, slides in the ring, and Punk doesn't see it. She slides in the ring and gets attacked. He gets knocked forward, and that makes Brock Lesnar grab CM Punk's legs and pull him out of the ring. And then basically a brawl started. A brawl started kind of like how they do with Triple H and Brock Lesnar. And I guess they do these brawls with Brock Lesnar a lot due to the fact that he was in UFC. And how the brawl ended was Brock Lesnar actually F5'd CM Punk onto the announce table. And that took CM Punk out for the rest of the little brawl until he tried to get back up and he really couldn't. And the next thing we saw was Cena actually walking down the hallway to go to the ring to make his decision. And Khali tries to influence and to get a title shot at SummerSlam, which Cena tried to show off his speaking Indian skills, and it wasn't really that good. Stephanie walks into Brad Maddox's office, and she's asked about his GM spot to Triple H, because Triple H was in there. And they talk about how about all of Cena's possible picks, and if Cena picks who they think he's going to pick, then Vince McMahon wouldn't like it, and if they pick someone, and if you pick someone else, that Vince McMahon might like it, and that was okay. But then you had the match of the night to me. You had Rob Van Dam versus Chris Jericho. This was your main event. And this was an amazing match. How this match ended was Rob Van Dam was in the walls of Jericho. He gets out of it, like, I think he kicked Jericho in the face, and he does his 5-star frog splash. He did a 5-star frog splash so high on the replays, he got over the referee in the replays, and then comes down, landed right on Jericho. It was a perfect 5-star frog splash. But that's how the match was ended, was the 5-star. Mr. Monday Night is back, and he's looking great. RVD's looking good. For a guy who's in his 40s, he is looking fantastic. You guys might not believe he's in his 40s, but go look it up. He's in his 40s. He probably is like 40, 41. He's like Victor's age. The guys who Cena has to choose from are all out on the stage. You kind of think that they would be surrounded in the ring, kind of like lumberjacks, but they're all on the stage. And then Cena comes in, and he says he wants us to decide. He wanted to do the whole kind of like crowd favorite, and he starts naming off some names. But there was one guy that it's pretty obvious why he was there. There's one guy who he didn't mention who was there, and that's the Brooklyn Brawler. They're in Brooklyn, so you know he's more than likely going to be there. As far as John Cena wasn't like, I see the Brooklyn Brawler out there, I'm going to pick him. Just to win it easy. That's something that like a heel would do. But he starts naming off some names. He says we have a birthday boy in the up there. He's Slater. And he's like, well, what about any of 3B? And the crowd just basically boos 3B out of the building. Orton is next, and he got a mixed reaction. Khali got booed, Del Rio got booed, and this is the order that he said them in. Jericho got cheered, RVD got cheered, Fandango got booed, but then people were Fandangoing. Sheamus got a big boo for his. Ryback got no'd. Cena is asked he asks the crowd, is there anyone he's forgetting? And the crowd just started, everyone in Brooklyn is chanting, yes, 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 yes. He's forgetting Daniel Bryan. So John Cena says, you know what? I made my decision. And he says that he picks Daniel Bryan. And the crowd goes insane. The crowd loves this. I love this. You guys love this. The crowd does chant yes for the rest of the night because he gets in the ring. Cena holds up the WWE title, he does kind of like this. He just goes like this, and Daniel Bryan's sitting there, and basically this is basically your picture for the rest of the whole stare down, and the crowd is going insane chanting yes. I'm even chanting yes. My mom tells me to shut up because of me chanting yes. This is your match of the year for the WWE Championship. Will Daniel Bryan win? Probably. Will John Cena win? You never know what happens in the WWE. The last guy expected to win one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches won it. So, that was your Raw review. I don't know what else to say right now. I'm excited. I'm excited for SummerSlam right now. I really want SummerSlam to be here due to the fact of the matches that they're having right now. They have John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. They have Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk. The John Cena Daniel Bryan match might even have their personal lives involved with it, with the Bella Twins, and how John Cena might start walking out with Nikki Bella every week after that, because after Total Divas, it's gonna be like they might as well just start walking out with him. And then it come to realize Fandango's with that redheaded chick, the Eva Marie, and Justin Gabriel, I think it's who it is with that JoJo girl or whatever her name is. I don't know, but SummerSlam is looking great. If they do this whole Bella Twins that I keep mentioning, it's going to be even better. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this edition of Raw Review. I've got to work, so I'm going to bed. I am the YouTube champion, and I'm checking out.